My name is Tyler David, and you're watching Field of Dreams on ACTN.
Hey everybody, welcome to Field of Dreams on ACTN. I'm Steve David, I'm your host. Today I want to talk to two familiar players in TT football that I have so much respect for, and I know you're going to be excited to hear what they're doing now. Before I show their faces, viewers, sit back and relax, and let me just introduce them. Give me a time to introduce them, and then we're going to go from there. To my left, first sitting right next to me, Floyd Lawrence. Welcome to the set, Floyd.
Thank you very much, Steve. It's a pleasure being here, and it's always an honor for coming to support someone like you in this program.
And we call him Ninja, for the guys who know him affectionately. And of course, you guys recognize the face. Now you know it's the Strike Squad guys. And then I've got Brian Williams, the MVP of the U.S. Trinidad game. Welcome to the set, Brian.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steve. Welcome to all viewers. Nice to be here.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, I'm so glad to have you guys here this morning. Appreciate you coming this night. I want to know a little bit. I don't want to talk Strike Squad. I want to talk about family and what you guys doing and what you're into and all the different things. So let me start though. How you feel 30 years now, 30 years later, what went on with you and the Strike Squad? Let's give the viewers a little taste about that. How you feel about that now?
Well, Steve, I must say, and to all viewers, this year we celebrate our 30th anniversary. We recently had a trip to the US 2 weeks ago, where we were invited here by some of the ex-nationals, some of our supporters in the USA, that seeing that after 30 years, we still keep ourselves together. And I always say, it's really unique. A national football team would stay together after 30 years, and I want to compliment Clayton, our captain, for driving us in keeping us together in terms of, he do his work at the prisons. And after November 1989, we were invited, a year after we were invited, he doing his work at the prison, we were invited by the prisons to come to Carrera to play against the inmates there. Mm-hmm. And that request was done through Clayton, which is the beginning of the Really Strike Squad staying together as an entity, mm-hmm. playing until this time where we celebrate our 30 years. So our first encounter was really at the prisons, and as we all know, Clayton doing a tremendous job with the inmates, the prisons throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So that is something that we want to kind of always remember to where we was driven to continue mm-hmm. as a team. We also wanted to add to that, we also are driven by the requests and the energy of the people, for still want to see the Strike Squad and the support and the respect that we get from people up to this time. These where we at after 30 years. So our recent celebration in New York 2 weeks ago was a continuation of what we do, right? Really and truly, the Strike Squad, we see ourselves giving back, making a contribution to Trinidad and Tobago football. Hence the reason we stay together at this point in time. We don't really say like fit match, but we do a lot of community work, charity work and stuff like that, and assisting Trinidad and Tobago football on the whole. So most of the players presently right now, they are involved in coaching and stuff like that. So this is where carry us and give us that drive to stay together up until this time.
It is amazing that you guys stayed together for that long, right, Flores?
Well, it is definitely, most definitely. I think too, what had happened there is that is the love and respect we had for each other in that regard. You know, that camaraderie, that togetherness, and you know, and that pleasant time that we would have spent working hard for this country to ensure that we identify with a particular type of play, and you know, we try to maintain that in that regard. So I think again too. You know, what Brian would have said in respect to Clayton taking that initiative and stuff like that and inviting us, I mean, that would have given us the impetus actually to continue. And again, too, you know, even the love of the people wanting to see the strike squad, I mean, after so long, I mean, I've never seen that happen anywhere in that regard. So again, all honor and glory to the Most High God for that in that regard, you know, but we are willing to give back, as Brian said, in that regard. If we are invited, at times we were invited to clinics and stuff like that. A couple of the guys would have showed up and, you know, do clinics and stuff like that. So again, I mean, it's an honor to be part of the strike squad, you know, having, you know, 30 years under your belt and still going at it a bit, you know, although too, I mean, it's becoming a bit of a challenge because we are aging in that regard, but again, we would have left our mark, and you know, we're not trying to prove anything in that regard. We just want to see Trinidad and Tobago football where it should be, to the top.
Well, you guys gotta give yourself credit because, like you said, you're aging, and you guys stuck together as a team for so long, kept your body in shape, good health. I mean, I saw you guys play. I saw you guys beat some young teams as well.
We do.
So credit to you guys.
Let me take this. You see, what's happening? I don't know, but you know, personally speaking, I think you know, your personal self and your health and your physical condition is one a footballer should take in high regard. You understand? But I can't see, you know, as players or international players, ex-international players, whatever, you know, you're just kind of like, you know, dwindle away. You understand, in that regard? So I know, I'm aware that, you know, physical fitness is it in that regard. You can't play the game if you're not physically fit.
Exactly.
In that regard. So, you know, I mean, we love that challenge. You know, we love our challenge, and it has been like that with us.
What about you, Brian? How did you do it?
Yeah, well, we try to keep ourselves, and you know, and this is one of our major concerns, Stevie, that what we discuss it as a group, right? The continuity of the strike squad. The continuity of the strike squad is really to kind of embrace all ex-national players, to continue to give back. So we know that, as Floyd said, we know that now most of us closing in on 60 years old.
Right.
We still try to keep on. We know that will be a challenge. We keep talking about what would we do, or how could we continue as the strike squad when we no longer could play.
Right.
So this is something that we're discussing right now, to even form a foundation where we could give back or try to solicit funds or do things to either give a scholarship to the top colleges league player, because we know, let me say, 5 more years from now, most of us might, and this is one, as I say, this is one of the greatest challenges that we have in problems like in continuing to play.
Right.
So it's difficult for us now to really say feel a team, but what could we do to keep the strike squad a name when we no longer could play? And so we would expect that, where we keep inviting ex-nationals to join us so we could continue. But you know, ego trips, and I want to be real here. And a lot of respect to the Warriors in the 2006, but would the Warriors like to be called a strike squad in continuation. So these are some of the challenges we will have personally. But we as the strike squad want to keep that link with the general footballing public, the name strike squad. So as now as most of us kind of coming to the end of our playing time, we no longer could play, we're studying what we could do for the continuation. Should we have a foundation? Should we try to form a little academy or something of such nature? So that is something we'll be discussing right now in terms of the continuation of the strike squad.
I looked at the strike squad as giving back, saying thank you to the people for the support 30 years, for that whole 30 years, because you guys have been out there as a team, playing in community, get invited to do this, and you're doing this as a team. And to me, that is like, thank you for the support.
Yes.
And I appreciate that.
Yes, it's Stephen, exactly. Because Steve, like, how we look at it, kudos and hats off to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Steve David, the Gally Cummins, the 1974, even so before, we all set foundation in the general interest of Trinidad and Tobago football.
Mm-hmm.
So we, as a strike squad, we came up with the idea with the continuity, the give back, thank you, and we really moved by the energy of the people, you know.
Right.
The people make a lot of requests still. And just before we went to we went over to the United States 2 weeks ago, we was in Tabaquite.
Right.
We have requests to go to Tobago, and sometimes we have to turn down some of them because of timing, and then we have to link with everybody to make sure everybody available.
Right.
Because people coaching, and I should apologize for some of my colleagues not being here this morning too, because of things that they have to do and then the workplace and stuff. But I think in the whole big picture, from you guys' time to our time, our time to even say the 2006, our main interest is Trinidad and Tobago football keeping at a certain level.
Right.
Keeping at a certain level. And I know we might touch on it a little bit because I know the present situation is not what way we all enjoying right now. Mm-hmm. Because we know we was kings of the Caribbean, we was so dominant in the Caribbean football, and now we're seeing the gap close.
Right.
And like we still stagnated, but we keep saying we have our contribution to make towards Trinidad football, and we'll continue to do it, but we know the challenges. So basically, Steve, that is what it is about, is embracing each other in respect and stuff like that for the bigger picture.
Let me
go ahead.
Let me add a bit here. In terms of this is my opinion personally. I think that from where we would have been to now, I would want to think that we didn't make much of a progress with the momentum that we had. You see, you're
talking about the football itself.
Yes, football itself in that regard.
Right.
We, as Brian said, we were kings of the Caribbean. I know the gap would have closed, you would expect that. Mm-hmm. But then the gap was closing, but what were we doing? You understand? So it come now as though, look, from being kings of the Caribbean, we playing a kind of catch-up game in that regard. I think that collectively, we should get together, put aside the pettiness, the this and the that and the other, and work in the best interest of football in that regard. Too much of different personalities who want to be in charge. If Steve is in charge, well, so be it, we support him. If Steve is the coach, we support him. Full 100 Trinidad and Tobago. That's what it is in that regard. But we have this kind of, I don't know, it's sad. It's very sad as a nation in that regard. No kind of love, everybody ill-speaking and who feel they could do it better and stuff like that. It's not going to work that way.
Egos,
too many egos.
You're going to break that down, right?
Yeah.
But that's how it goes. At the end of the day, it's all about football and the kids coming, and not about you and I or anybody else.
No.
Yeah?
And this is the picture of the strike squad on the whole in terms of that, because I don't want to say too much dwelling on other aspects, but I saying as you said, Steve, is the kids and stuff like that, and setting. And this is what the strike squad is about. That's why we reach out to communities, we reach out to all fundraising ventures and all those different things, and we see where we could work with kids for them to live their dreams. You know what I mean? So that's why we stay into coaching, and we look at the kids and them, the younger ones better, because a youngster who want to be a professional and stuff, who looking for a scholarship to go away, is we from a footballing aspect, how could we assist in that way? So that's why we try to maintain ourselves in when we go about on the street, even self, how we dress, how we operate, how we good exemplars, you know what I mean? And always try to set the right environment for our young footballers. So basically, I think that is the objective of the strike squad, without any ego trip and stuff like that. If we ask to do national duties, obviously we will welcome it, or anything in the community. And I think this is where I expecting that we say some of our ex-nationals and thing and stuff like that to continue the vision of the strike squad without any separation. We might, and look, Steve, all respect to you guys too, because a lot of you guys from your era support what the strike squad do. We just stay together as a national football team, which is unique in the world. I could point out a national team stay together 30 years after representing your country. So it's very unique, and people appreciate that. So we asking for that support. That is just what we want to do. We are just like a normal NGO giving back. You understand what I mean? So this is why I'm saying sometimes I see corporate Trinidad generally look at it, and I must say, Steve, I want to say hats off and thanks for Field of Dreams in the support that we got from you guys presently to go to New York and stuff like that, because we look at we went a lot of companies and stuff on them things, you know. And it might say, well, what sustainability that the strike should really have, and that's how they look at it. A bunch of 50-year-old men going out maybe just a fit match. But it's not really fit match. We do something like, we do sports tourism for Trinidad and Tobago, because when we go to New York and we go to Orlando, we have invitation to come to Canada. Sometimes we go throughout the Caribbean, and people show that embrace is sports tourism we're doing for Trinidad and Tobago football. I think it's something that corporate Trinidad and Tobago don't really recognize, because they feel it's a bunch of elder men going on maybe just fit match, and what is the sustainability of things like that, you know?
But you guys are mentors, and the young ones look at you and see how you carry yourself, how you stay fit, it's all about how you guys go through that process and about living as men. So I really appreciate you guys for what you've doing, and continue doing it, because it is good for our young kids to see you can stay together for 30 years. You can maintain health for 30 years and all of that good stuff. So, but let's take a break. When we come back, we will pick up where we left off.
Yes.
Viewers will be right back after the short break.
But when Steve turned up, why I want to win the game, I play in Steve, yes, and Floyd in training every day. So if we take certain stands with some of these players who operate in that way and don't play them and leave them out, then you realize what is required.
I just saw you playing out there, and you look real good. Who are you?
Well, you know, I'm Little King, sir. I'm the best footballer point of the
Oh, really? You know any of the older players who play here?
Well, I know Warren Akibal, Leroy Dillion.
Stop. You know me? Boy, I was the best striker, the best forward that this country ever seen.
Oh, Wilfred Kane.
Boy, I'm Steve David, boy.
Okay, welcome back, viewers. Okay, guys, I know we sit down here and we're reminiscing, and let's do that. So I don't have to. Let's just talk about, like, we sitting and just having a conversation. Let's talk about anything that you want to talk about with what you're doing now in your life, or what you see is going on, or whatever. Let's the viewers hear us rap about these things.
Okay, basically, what's happening presently, I would zero in on me personally, and, after, when I say zero in on me, I'm being part of the Strike Squad, everyone has their personal life and stuff like that. As our prior conversation, you would have heard that, a lot of us involved in coaching and stuff like that in that regard, but, personally, for me personally, I would have decided, well, look, let me put a hold on that coaching aspect for several different reasons. Because of the fact that, personally speaking, I think that we in this country kind of like overnight success in that regard. And even, I would want to touch on this because of the fact that I think it is important in terms of, even players' attitude towards the game in that regard. It's not encouraging as a coach in that regard. We have so many players, coming from the colleges league and and different stuff, but there's no continuity in that regard. I would want to mention this. I don't mind to take the bashing for this, but I think that even some of us as coaches, we sort of only interested in the winning aspect of it, and and not letting the players and stuff develop them holistically in that regard. Because coming out of the college leagues, you would find that a player with ability, but then his academics is
right,
nowhere in that regard.
Yeah.
That is not good.
Yeah.
That is not good for the country.
Right.
That is not good for me as a coach in that regard. So, I would want to think that, as coaches, we should look at that holistic sort of development of the player. Then we would turn out even better players, more intelligent players in that regard, and ensure that, discipline and stuff like that is maintained. I think that that word discipline, is key. It's key to success in anything that you do. That discipline and that commitment in that regard. I think that really and truly we have enough talent in this country to be at the top in that regard.
Well, we got to bring you back into coaching, Ninja. We need you.
I don't know,
the country needs you back into.
It really would take some doing in that regard. You see, because I would have loved this. I came out under Mr. Vidal and Brian and they, and sitting under these brothers. It was like, for me, it was enjoyable because of the fact that I identify and recognize that, this is a continuous learning process. You understand in that regard? But let me
give you an advice. It doesn't have to be coaching. There's so many different sections of football. It could be management. It could be anything, getting people fit. It could be anything. Think about it. We need to get you back involved full time. Right? Right, Brian?
Yes, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. Because
you've been doing it.
From my point of view, Steve, with the natural, and as I always say, the natural passion for the game, it's difficult to leave the game.
Right.
And I know what the game have done, what the game has done for me, in terms of me as a person, this point in time, and all what football done. So the natural passion for the game, and I always say passion is in good and bad times.
Right.
If you're really passionate about something, when it's difficult to leave it when it gets rough, because we have to stick in there. And seeing what football have done for me and what it's given me, and my continuous contact with the game and coaching, it's difficult for me to separate myself. My concern is we as a people, you know, what we're doing for the football, because still, in your times and in our times, and as Floyd said recently, we went to the World Cup in 2006. I still feel big about Trinidad and Tobago football, and my my contribution have to be continuous in terms of when I realized at the top level, even so when I was working at Petrotrin, it was difficult to get into full-time football and coaching, so I had to spend more time with the kids, and I get to really love it, the foundation, because working with senior players and working with this national senior team at some point in time, I realized a lot of the players come to senior level with poor attitudes, with not a good foundation even so, because we're reaching a time now, everything, as we know, is the dollars and cents. So hardly likely now you will get somebody who doing voluntary work or what, time change in that aspect. And we all have to understand that. So now, most of the top coaches or coaches who, knowledgeable coaches, they want to be where that come in. So our kids who ain't get the right foundation is one of the greatest challenges that we facing right now. That's why I kind of always admire people who want to have academies, who want to pick up coaching, but it's what we're doing at that early age. What kind of information sharing with our kids and stuff like that. I still reside in South Trinidad, and most of my work, sometimes I've been bashed for not doing enough work in the community. But then I say, Brian, even if that bashing taking place, still I'm making a contribution to Trinidad and Tobago football more from a wider and broader, because I deal with kids from all over Trinidad and Tobago, right? We still go and do. If you ask Brian to come to your academy or to come and do some type of work in your coaching school or your club, I would go and do it. You understand what I mean? So the big picture right now, Steve, as I continue to say, is for us to get together, and this is why I always talk about the tabletop model. You understand me? To have a successful organization, even if it's a football club or whatever, or a footballers, we need the administrators to plan and set and direct where they want the football to go. We need the expertise, which is our coaches and our physios and our trainers, etc. We need facilities that we could operate from and work with and work in, and then we come with our players.
Right.
Just on the tabletop model, I always follow. Just like in training an athlete, it's only 4 areas you can train an athlete: psychologically, physically, technically, and tactically. So the tabletop model always my base. So our administrators, we need to have those type of vision and set it. Too much time we drop out, we start up something, we think, we continue, we failing because of challenges. We need to carry on, persist, to do things to really move the football team, because other than that, we know we spent a lot of time with a lot of people talking Trinidad football, what we could do and stuff like that. We is just, and as I say, the puzzle need all the pieces, to get the picture. You can't miss a piece of the puzzle, because then you wouldn't get the picture. So we have to come together and work in the interest. And everybody might seems to have, I know this is, but what is the end result? And that is something where is a major concern to me. But from deep down in my heart as a person, Brian Williams, I'm very much interested in where we go, how our development and doing better in football, and come back to where we were in in the region.
Ninja, I know you will come back. I would make sure that I see you involved in football. But let's tell the viewers about this one. We play in an old man game. I am a forward on one team, and Ninja is the forward on the other team. I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah.
So I'm coming up against Ninja, and he gave me a place to go. I know he's
waiting
he has
to
his
get
bat here
work.
waiting for me to go.
He waiting for
give
that.
it to me. And normally when I give a defender give it to me, I take it because I have enough pace to go by it.
Yes.
Not realizing I don't have the pace that I used to have. So Ninja gave it to me, I took it, and then he come happily. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell him.
I mean, honestly speaking, I as a defender, I sort of like, I sort of try to make that a personal study in that regard. I looked at the Germans, and stuff like that. The old German teams and how they get into it, how they win the ball, I sort of like made that a study. I mean, I'm saying this, because I would have took some time in developing myself personally,
Right.
because I would have done work on my own, in that regard. I throwing ball on the field, running long, tackling ball, like hooking ball, like if man with ball, and and stuff like that. So, and it's all about, I don't see that happening right about now in terms of how we defend, we defend heart and soul.
Well, I was hoping that you were scared when I faced you, but you said no. Take that stage.
But
and go and get hit.
Yeah, because what I'm saying is that we are fearless. I'm fearless. I don't care who. Show me the best player on the field.
Right.
Show me the best player on the field.
I got you.
I don't mind.
You don't mind.
Give me that work.
You are there.
But
that's been you ever since.
Ever since, I had a role to play in the strike squad. I thought that.
And I'm just joking when I say it.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
No, but
We know Floyd.
yeah,
Stevie.
Floyd is.
He will get down on you. He will get down on you.
Floyd is one of those players. All right, he says he's the best player and he's good. Give it to me. I got it.
Good deal with him.
Yeah, give it.
Yeah. Because of the fact that, I just want to go back. I wanted to go back to a game that we would have played. Was it Crystal Palace? We were to play Crystal Palace in Trinidad. So, just sitting looking at this game and stuff like that, there were a couple English internationals on the team and stuff like that, and strikes were coming up against this team, boy. Wow, boy, it's tough, boy. I'm watching these players quick and stuff like that. I think, Brian, I think that game ended like 4. Leonson would have scored, a number of goals in that game. Could you call that game?
Yeah, Crystal Palace
What, you
game.
played here in Trinidad?
Yeah, they had in Trinidad, So there was this guy, what's his name, boy? He was an English international, speed like that, This man, he couldn't get past, right? But he was cussing me. He's a black man and cussing me black, X, Y, and Z, Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he playing for so much money. I said, come on, you playing for so much money, man? Come on, I don't play for anything. You understand? It was like, I don't motivate yourself as personally speaking as a defender. I enjoyed playing with the strike squad. I mean, we had something, I don't know. It was special.
And you were all amateurs at the time.
Yeah.
You see, and guys turned professionals after.
Yeah. And
But
this is
at the time
this
you were
what we always say, Stevie. Professionalism is an attitude.
Right.
I know dollars and cents will come, but a lot of times as amateurs, we did a professional job.
Right.
And this is something that we always try to get into the young player today. Make sure and do your job properly. Make sure and understand, work hard, the right things. We have problems nowadays in trying to instill the right things. Come to training early, be on time. If you don't train, you don't play, and those type of things. And sometimes we seen adults trying to go against these type of things in terms of oh gosh, my son couldn't come training, why he ain't play, and all those different things. But we have to maintain what is required to be a good player to our young players.
Right.
This is what the game required. This is not where Steve David or Brian Williams or Floyd Lawrence say, this kind of way, thing. This is what the game required. The game required that you got to train, you got to work hard. In football, the best place is the training field. So when it comes to the actual game, when you work hard in training, when it comes to the actual game, you're at home. When you work hard and you're fit and nice enough, sometimes you play a game and say, hey, the game done.
Yeah,
I still feeling to play against Stephen happened to us.
Yeah.
Because you're so much in your game and you're so fit and you're ready that sometimes you play a 90-minute football game and you feel like you're still ready, you're not ready to play. And this is something that I see that young people not embracing enough. And this is what we have to do as coaches, what we have to do as adults, instill the right things into our youngsters.
I got a question. So bridge this gap for me, because everybody always say the same. With the passion and the commitment that you had, we're saying today it's not there. Okay. So how do we get the players today with all the money sharing and they wouldn't play any game if they don't get paid?
Yes.
How do we bridge that gap, and how do we get them to transfer that thinking? The game, the importance of the game is, I never played for money. I get paid, but I never really played for it.
Yes.
But I played for the passion of the game.
Yes.
How do we get them to feel that?
This is the point I make it earlier on, Steve. We as coaches have to understand what is required for players to develop or for players to be better players. As I said before, why should I coach in a squad and I know Steve David better than Floyd Lawrence, and I really want Steve would affect the game, but Steve ain't come in training. But when Steve turn up, why I want to win the game, I play in Steve, yes, and Floyd in training every day. So if we take certain stance with some of these players who operate in that way and don't play them and leave them out, then they will realize what is required to play the game, because they want to play. They want to play. And this is the problem that I see in that, because there's a lot of distraction now in the modern world with certain type of technology and all those different, and we talk about it every day where we see players now. That's why some players don't carry the basic Motorola skills, because we see in them with the whole computer thing. They're playing football on the computer and don't go outside and really get involved. But we compromising what is the right things to do for our players, for our youngsters, and we operate it otherwise.
All right, we need to take a break, Floyd, but when we come back, I want you to address the same question.
Yeah, definitely.
Viewers will be right back after the short break.
And actually, when they know they have the ability, they might know, well, look, I have the coach in my pocket here. You know, I have the coach here because I know the coach wants to win. And without me, the coach thinks that, hey, I might be the best bet for him winning the game. You know, so I could do what I want and operate how I want, but that's not good for the football.
We, from those encounters together, and this was a North-South game to open the season.
So the team might be playing well, as we always say with Trinidad and Tobago.
Futsal did that great for me.
Okay, hey everybody. Welcome to another edition of Field of Dreams on ACTN. My name is Steve David. I'm your host.
Okay, welcome back, viewers. Floyd, I will most affectionately known as Ninja to me, because you're my boy.
Yeah.
Answer that question for me as well.
Okay.
Comment on it.
Okay, as Brian would have rightly said in his discourse in respect to players' attitude and coaches' approach to it, and maybe, your best player on the team, as he rightly said, may not be showing up for training, and you as the coach wanting to win, you would find he shows up and, you would play him, but, I have a different spin to that. You're not here to prepare in the right way, you don't play. You don't play, regardless of the fact that you could be the best player on the pitch, and you could cause me to lose a game. Yeah, because you're not prepared for the game in that regard. And this is where we are getting it wrong, I think, personally speaking, and stuff like that, in terms of the attitude of players and coaches per se too. I'm not bashing coaches, but it is what it is in that regard. But if we would try to instill the right discipline in these players in that regard, I think we would turn out better players. We would have better players playing for the country. You understand, in that regard, because of the fact that it's not all about winning. You understand? It's not all about winning, and this is what's happening. You would find some players know they have the ability, and they would. And actually, when they know they have the ability, they might know, well, look, I have the coach in my pocket here. I have the coach here because I know the coach wants to win. And without me, the coach thinks that, hey, I might be the best bet for him winning the game. So I could do what I want and operate how I want, but that's not good for the football. It's not good for the football in that regard. So again, I think coaches have to, I want to say we have been part of it too, ought to review the way in which we function and operate and deal with players in that regard.
Winning is not everything, but it's the only thing. Because if you don't win, the coaches go home. Yes. So they're in a dilemma as well.
Yes. Yeah, but what I'm saying is this. You win, but hear what I'm saying? Hey, yeah, winning is good, but how could I, as he rightly said, Brian showing up for training, all these sessions and stuff like that, and, the other player who's missing training might be more skillful, might be a better player, yes, in that regard. But sometimes not just all skill. You understand? Suppose the player might be fit as Brian, and we could flex as coaches and get into players here. That's what we do. We're supposed to do that. You understand? You could make me believe that I'm the best thing on this earth. I have to believe that, and I go there and give you what you want. You understand?
Yeah. And CV, and this is basically I think we as coaches, all of us, we understand, as I said, what is required for the player and for the player development. Like, for instance, the national team, I understand, went to the 2006 World Cup. Played in a World Cup, and when you hear something like one man pass, the required fitness test of a footballer, what is required for a footballer, the fitness level for you to play international football. Mm-hmm. One man pass the test. So you see, this is something that's gone. This is something where we think. Now the game gets so scientific, whatever. If I supposed to run 60 meters under 10 seconds, and I cannot do it as a footballer, then we have to make sure we maintain all the basic requirements. Mm-hmm. So our footballers now will have a little more ambition, a little more pride, a little work harder for what is required, because all these standards, if you compromise these requirements to be a top footballer with our footballers here, then hardly likely we will go forward. And this is what I'm saying to the rest of coaches. This is what we have to do. But sometimes it have so much different things. So much things that sometimes little restrictions we have. We don't have proper things in some of the clubs and stuff and them things, making it difficult for us to move our football team. But there's so much things that we have to stay firm and stand up with, because we know we want to reach the level. Because the gap in the footballing world now, knowledge and information, Stevie, you're getting it at thing, So you have to know how to operate now, man management, what you do now, because the gap in the world, the world closing. And these will be saying now, when we look at the footballers in Trinidad and Tobago, watch me, we saying talent, talent and ability here, game intelligence and what is required to play the game here. In Trinidad and Tobago, when people come here, or other coaches are seeing talent, are seeing ability, but the attitude and the game intelligence and what is here. So we have to bring that here to meet our talent and ability and ability with the right attitude, what is required to play the game. You know what I mean? From the player, the professionalism in the player, because we compromising too much with mediocrity, and our footballers, and these will be suffering. Besides what taking place administratively and stuff like that, you as a person have to have pride, because I keep asking my players, what is the greatest motivator? And still, we say it might be money, might be the biggest group, but you is the greatest motivator. I could do it. I am the best. I want to be there. And you motivate yourself to do it, and whatever. Dollars and if I good, dollars and cents will come, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
If I good, dollars and cents will come. But they put in the dollars and cents and not trying to be good. And this is something that interfering with all of us, because I know how difficult life is. As I said before, Brian might be bashed because we're going on. Should Brian stay down Santa Flora and Palo Seco and coach after you do your coaching courses, you work hard in football, you see a man sometimes with less qualifications than you or whatever, making big money, and you in Palo Seco, Santa Flora coaching, but I so nice, I want to give back, so don't pay me. I don't bong for no money. It's difficult. It's a difficult decision to make.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we all have to ban and see what also important, because if Steve David or anybody call Brian and I want you to give me a session or assist in my academy, I will go there. But I can't do that all the time and say thank you very much. It's a change in time.
What I noticed though, the best players on the team is the hardest workers. And the most talented players doesn't necessarily be the hardest workers, because they have all the talent and they don't work hard enough to develop it. But the best players, the players who is on top of the world in football, is always the hardest working player on the team.
Exactly, Steve. And you're seeing it today. This is where coaches and this way people see that they want the player with the right attitude. Diego Simone said too, he want players who could be willing to work hard, have high ambitions, have big dreams. You could be really talented, and we've seen a lot of talented players. And as I said before, I don't know why that is, as we would say, come so natural. Yeah, come so natural with the talented ones not willing to work hard, not willing to have the right attitude, and who have the real talent, who you want, who could affect the game. So now we're changing it with the athletes. The player with the right attitude and stuff, let me work with him and you'll see what's going on.
Right.
Let me work and develop him.
What do you think, Ninja?
Well, you know, he's correct there. You know, the attitude have to be right. That's important.
Right.
That's key. That's key to it in that regard. You know, your whole approach and you know, wanting to be the best you can be. You understand? But you know, I think too, we ought to start to believe in ourselves in that regard. We ought to motivate ourselves in that regard. You know, because I wanna zero in a bit on what Brian said in terms of, you know, someone might think that, you know, money is the best motivator, but then self-motivation is great. You understand? Because let me tell you, I just want to zero in a bit here because of the fact that, you know, personally speaking, I would have motivated myself to be an asset to my team. You know, I sort of decided, I could win the ball, so I sort of work on that, develop that. You know, I believe that every ball, I believe I could win it. You know, I believe every ball in the air is mine. You understand? So, you know, that's motivation in itself in that regard. So, I mean, I don't know, we ought to rethink the way we operate and our approach to things in that regard.
No, you two were very passionate players. And so on. So talk to the kid out there. What made you so passionate about giving 110% every single time for every single ball? Because that's how you guys played, both of you.
Brantic.
I was always say, Steve, I'd say to the kids, try to be the best player, the best person you can be. right? Try to understand, be a good student of the game. Try to work hard and realize what is required and stuff like that. It's important that the kid understand that and work hard. So train hard and stuff like that and be the best. You are the best and you will get there. You understand what I mean? Quickly in closing, I want to say, Stevie too, that I beg the powers might be who in control of our football, let us try to work together and make the best decisions in the interest of Trinidad and Tobago football. Let us take away all the ego trips and all those different things and come together and see the bigger picture, because at this point in time, we're seeing that separation in powers. We understand Trinidad and Tobago football from all its different things and all its present situation. Let us work, make good decisions, and you work in the interest of Trinidad and Tobago football and put us back where we're supposed to be.
Another thing I want to talk, you guys to talk about quickly is because, you know, you look at yourself. I am my biggest critic when I play, about how I know exactly how I play, and then I work on my weaknesses in practice. Did that happen for you? And because I want the kids out there to understand, tell them about that.
Let me just take this. I'm a prime example of that. Actually, you know, I recognize, you know, when I being part of these strikes, but I recognize that, you know, distribution, you know, passing was, you know, it was a weakness for me. So, you know, I went to the coach. I said, Coach, you know, so he said, like, your distribution or whatever, you know, and I would have spent time after practice, go before, and you know, passes, long range, whatever, you know, and it started to come. It got better in that regard, you know. So it's all about, you know, identifying where your weaknesses are and, you know, working, putting the extra in that regard, you know. So again, you know, as a youth out there, you know, I mean, I would want to encourage the youths out there to keep their feet on the ground, you know, because you see, what's happening now is that, you know, you may play a good game and, you know, my papers write you up, but you're as good as your last game. Right. You cannot get carried away with that. Humility is the thing. It's the key to it, you understand? Humility is a learning process. Let me tell you this, continuous learning process. Every game is a different game, you know? Every game is a different game. And your personal physical fitness and, you know, and you know.
Because Steve, and analyzing yourself is like basic business, like you do a SWOT analysis. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and your threats. And you, as a footballing person, even self in life, because life, this is what I tell you, life is not a game, you know. This is what I say to players or say to people. Sport, when we play sport is a game. You can win and lose. But life is not a game. Life is winning. Life is being successful. So you have to analyze yourself, even as a player that I know, and the thing about, and being guided by your coach, Coach Stevie coaching me, Brian, you need to work on your passing, you need to work on your goal scoring. That's why the training field, I keep saying, is so important for our athletes and our footballers. We don't like to train. We like to come and play games. But when you're in the training field, I know coach tell me, Brian, you score your goals, your reception, whatever your tackles, and you keep working on it, and then you look at it. Then you look at your strength, your weakness, this is the opportunities, this might be my threat, and that's how we analyze ourselves, to develop, to be better player, people all around. And before you're a footballer, you got to be a good man, a good person. Football is just that. Right. If I walk the road loose and careless and sometimes, so I'll play, so I'll operate. You know, attitudes.
I'll give you the last word. We have 1 minute. Who you want to say hi to, or you want to make a comment to any kid out there, or encourage somebody?
Okay, great. You know, I just want to encourage all the young coaches out there. There are a number of them, out there, in that regard, doing a good thing, the Eves, the Carringtons, the Cyrus, the, Coopers and the whoever, and, as coaches, I think that we could get together collectively in the best interest of the development of football in that regard. And, I just want to encourage those coaches actually to keep on doing what they're doing. And I think that, there should be a coaches union so that we could take this thing forward in the right way, again. So, again, it's a pleasure and an honor, being on this set here and, look forward to being here again sometime if invited, if, the need arises.
Thank you, Brian and Floyd. Thank you guys so much for being here, and both of you was tremendous with the strike squad and continued success. And you guys continue for the last 30 years and you keep going. I don't know what keeping you guys so young, but whatever you're doing, continue to do it. Appreciate you guys so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you again.
Yeah.
All right, viewers, thank you for tuning in every Monday at 8, and we do repeat on a Tuesday at 1. Thank you also for that. ACTN, thank you for giving us the opportunity. We do have a Facebook page that you can always go on and check us out, drop us a note, whatever you want to do. And we do have an email address, fieldofdreamstt@gmail.com. You can drop us a line. The show is ended. Go in peace. My name is Steve David. Good night.